I've noticed a couple weird trends within the FGC since I started playing these games, and I want to talk about them today. Both from the perspective of a player and a member, and from a perspective of somebody who makes videos about these things. Well, before we do, if you aren't already subscribed, please consider doing so. Thanks so much. The first thing I've noticed in the FGC, like within all these different communities that it encapsulates, like anime games or Capcom, 3D fighters, whatever it may be, they all have some form of gatekeeping, and it's always over the weirdest stuff. Like, for example, on one of those videos where I was talking about something Street Fighter related, I said in there that I was a Street Fighter player. Somebody commented and said just because you played one or two Street Fighter games doesn't mean you're a Street Fighter player. I could see somebody saying this if I've only played Street Fighter 5 for like a couple hours and then I made a video on it and said I'm a Street Fighter player now. But I have like 11 to 1200 hours across all my accounts on PC alone. That's not including offline play on Street Fighter 5. So if I'm not a Street Fighter player, then what am I? Because if you're saying that I haven't played like Street Fighter 4 or Third Strike, so it doesn't really count. When Street Fighter 4 came out, I was 10 years old. When Street Fighter 3 came out, when Third Strike came out, I was 1. So there's nothing I can do. Like, I can't appease you on that end. And to be honest, I think a lot of people who have that sentiment either, one, don't play anymore and are kind of attached to the nostalgia of it. So when they see new people coming in and playing these games and calling themselves Street Fighter players, they get kind of offended by it because they feel like they have some like tenure or authority over people who play the series because they played it fucking 20 years ago. It's just so weird when I see that, like people who actively don't want new players in their community. It happened to me when I was playing Melty Blood. When I was making Melty Blood videos, a lot of those players were very nice. Everybody's super welcoming, but there's a very vocal minority who did not like me playing their game and who did not like me making videos and making money off of their game. Like they really felt like they had some authority over me or like some tenure over me because it's like a seniority system. Like, they really felt like that because people were posting my Melty Blood videos in the Melty Blood Discord, and then sometimes I would get a ping, so I'd go search for it. And all the responses that weren't from the person who originally posted the video were always like super negative. Like I'm just trying to document my experience. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to live their life or how to play the game. It just felt like the more and more I posted videos about that, the more and more people would come in, and it just felt like there wasn't really a place for me in that game or in that community at least. Just a few like weird interactions on Discord and in the YouTube comments and sometimes even on Reddit threads for that game where I just didn't feel like it was worth the hassle posting videos of that game anymore because one, I didn't really enjoy the new iteration, and two, every time I posted one I just felt like I don't know, nervous that somebody was gonna say some stupid shit again, and it just wasn't worth it for me in the end. Overall, what I learned from that whole experience is like sometimes I just want to try new shit and there's nothing deeper to it, and if that offends you, like if it offends you that I pick up your game and then I play it and like I don't know, have something to say about it, I just don't care anymore. I fully expect the same thing to happen when KOF 15 comes out and I try that game like I said I was going to, and then I would check probably the YouTube comments. People say I'm a clout chaser, chasing trends, whatever it is. I just don't care anymore, to be honest. The hard truth is that I just want to try these new games because I've never played some of these series. I expect the same thing that happened with Melty Blood, where there was a lot of really cool people and then there was a very vocal minority telling me to like get off of their game. Like, I just expect that to happen now. And that's sad to say, but that feels like a trend in the FGC. It feels like there is a vocal minority that does not want new people to pick up their games. Because I think it's because they've been burned in the past, right? Like, they have a bunch of new players pick up their game, then they, like, get their game shit talked and those people drop the game. So that might be a thing, you know? And I think some of it has to do with, like, older players who've been playing the game for a really long time have a fear of losing to players who are, like, new to the series. Sometimes I feel like it's a pride thing. Let's move on to the next topic. I think something really funny is that like the FGC and just big groups in general will never agree on one thing. We'll always be divided. But I always thought that Rollback would be the one thing that everybody would say is good, and that is not the case. I have a couple of screenshots here, like some pretty funny shit that I want to share with you. This is an old tweet that resurfaced for me. I don't know why it was on my timeline, but it says, I hope that in 2020 we'll finally put an end to the ridiculous rollback trend. I don't know what happened this year to make everybody completely blinded by the idea that, but it must stop. And he has like a KOF avatar, And if you've ever played a delay-based game like how the old KOFs are, and then you play any game with rollback like Plus R, Strive, Blaze Blue, and any of those, you will feel the difference. It is night and day. The only time you have a bad experience on rollback is if you are playing across the fucking world or one of you is on Wi-Fi. And you can have the best Wi-Fi in the world. Like you can say, oh, my Wi-Fi is great, I have gigabit internet. It's still going to fluctuate way more than if you just had a wire. Like that argument is so stupid to me. Like, yeah, you have gigabit, you probably pay for gigabit, but if you're on Wi-Fi, you might be getting half of that. You're probably getting like 500 to like 750, and then your ping is always jumping. It is never consistent, and that's what causes your rollback frames to like go from 3 to 5 to 4 to 7. Like it will feel laggy if you're playing on Wi-Fi. That reply is pretty funny too. It's basically popularism. Unfortunately, people with big influence abuse it to force what they think is right onto the devs. It's because it is right. Like that is the best online you can get is rollback. And if you feel like it's not, like if you feel like you're still laggy on rollback, it's probably you. I'm not gonna lie. It is probably your internet or your Wi-Fi, whatever you're doing. Or you're just playing with people way outside of your range, like you're playing with people across the world. And if you don't agree with me, go play a delay-based game on your Wi-Fi. You will feel the difference. Now, if you want to play on your Wi-Fi to an advantage, go play Street Fighter 5. That game gives you a fucking advantage for playing on Wi-Fi because the other person with the better connection and the better hardware a lot of the time will feel that one-sided rollback. Play on a PS4 on Wi-Fi. You'll get the diamond in like a month. So lag everybody out. Play Urian or something. Play somebody that's really good in lag. You can fucking do it. Anyways, I had a few more topics I wanted to cover, but I think we'll stop there for today. If you enjoyed this style of video, let me know, and we'll cover those other topics in the future. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.